Saving the planet. Is that what you want? Do the subscribers and listeners and viewers of Driving It Home want to save the planet? Does the planet need saving? So we're taking our video in front of this beautiful backdrop of these trees to remind us that, yeah, we want to save the planet, if at all possible. So we're continuing to look at this article written by Sahil Desai in the Atlantic about car rental companies are ruining electric vehicles. So you can let me know what you think about this. I'll just continue here when he's talking about electric vehicles and being blindsided by the fact that he had to use a electric vehicle after renting one. He says these are great, potentially planet-saving machines, but the ordeal made me want to wage a slash and burn campaign against all of them. A surprise EV rental, it turns out, is tailor-made to amplify the downsides of electric cars, especially among impressionable newbies. Are you a newbie to electric vehicles? If so, let me know. If you're a seasoned veteran of electric vehicles, let me know what you think below. He says, actually somebody else, Laura McDonald, it's really not smart, an EV consultant told him. If they're out of gas cars, they're out of gas cars, but they've got to eliminate the surprise thing. The promised transition away from dirty gas cars only works if people actually want to buy EVs, as all of the government tax breaks and Will Ferrell ads make abundantly clear. Yet the very first time that many people experience an electric car will be not at a dealership, but rather on a rental car trip. There you go. EVs may work great for the business traveler who is taking their Tesla from the airport to the hotel and to a client meeting across town, but things are way more complicated for road trippers. Road trippers, there you go. What makes an EV rental such a struggle is that it is a rental. The overwhelming majority of EV owners charge their cars at home, waking up to a full charge every morning. Unless you luck out and have a place to charge overnight at your hotel or Airbnb, you're stuck with American Wild West of public EV chargers. Plugs are not only hard to find, they're sometimes full or broken, and very often too slow for anything but overnight charging. When my Chevy Bolt was just about running on empty in the Finger Lakes, the closest charger I could find was blocked by a blue Tesla loitering after a fill-up. The next best option was so slow that after 4 hours of charging, the car had added a measly 70 miles to its range, roughly what a gas pump could do for a similarly sized car in well under 30 seconds. Plenty of Tesla superchargers popped up on Google Maps, but none of them worked with my hapless Bolt, Chevy Bolt. If I had known an EV was coming my way, I would have dutifully planned out my charging strategy ahead of time instead of sitting in a Sheetz parking lot and simmering with road rage. Gas drivers tend to find the nearest pump whenever they're low on fuel, but with an EV, every time you park could end up as a missed opportunity to get a bit of juice. Because of the quirks of lithium-ion batteries, you might save time charging your EV in bursts as opposed to doing it all in one go. With this in mind, drivers learn to compulsively check EV charging apps such as PlugShare, ChargeHub, ChargeWay for nearby stations. Compared with filling up on gas, it's just a completely different experience, says Ellen Kennedy, an expert on carbon-free transportation at the think tank RMI. So that's pretty good. The think tanks are thinking a little bit more practically for transportation in an electric vehicle. Again, there are a lot of growing pains going into the electric vehicle phase of the economy, but the biggest bottleneck is not going to be people wanting to drive electric vehicles or being surprised at rental car companies. In my opinion, it's going to be more dealing with the actual power generating needs to provide power to all these vehicles all over the place. Currently, people think they're getting zero carbon output by driving an all electric vehicle, when in reality they're just offsetting it to, a coal-fired plant somewhere, or a natural gas plant, or a nuclear plant, or what have you. Some of them think that they're getting it from renewable, types of power generation, like hydroelectric, wind, or even solar, but those are very, very minimal amounts of power that are coming from those into the grid. The majority is coming from coal and fossil fuels, which are carbon. So, with that in mind, as we hear our neighbors starting up their fossil fuel powered mowers, what do you think? Do you think there's any chance that we can even adopt electric vehicles to the extent that we need to be a carbon-free society, but without changing any of our power generation processes? I think there's something to be said for one of those, what's it called? The thing where atoms smash into each other and create lots of energy, and then we can make electricity from it. Something to be said about that. There's only 10% of our power generating needs are produced by nuclear power plants, and we're going to need a lot more of that good, renewable, clean energy. When I say renewable, do you know why it's renewable? If anybody of you knows why nuclear power can be a renewable resource, drop it in the notes below. If you don't think it's ever going to be a renewable source, drop that in the notes below. If you think I've lost it, say so. Or just give me a thumbs up. Either way, subscribe. See you next time.